Minchas Aloza. You know what a Minchas Aloza was? He once, it was the Alpandri. Zechet Tzaddik V'Bracha was the famous Mukubal. He lived till the age of 113. So he went specially, he spent 3 months with him. So he said to the Alpandri, Rabbeinu B'chayu. So Alpandri said to him, it's Rabbeinu B'chayu. When he went back to Munkach, from then on, it was Rabbeinu B'chayu, no longer Rabbeinu B'chayu. Okay, that's how Rabbeinu B'chayu came to the Ashkenazim. Because that had incident with the Alpandri, with the Minchas Aloza. Okay, that's the story. Okay, further. We left off over here. We're on Vavam at Beis. Shalach lei Rav Yosel Rav Chisda. Rav Yosel sent to Rav Chisda Halacha Gitten Abo Misham Lekan. A get that's brought from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael. We said in Amanaf, according to Rav, that Bavel is Kersol Gitten. Bavel and Eretz Yisrael are the same. There's a Tosno Amanaf we didn't learn. I was waiting for this. So if that's the case, what's the difference between Rav of Yosef and Rav? Of course, we'll see in a moment. Rav Yosef takes issue. He says, who's Rav of Yosef? Who said he's a Bar Samcha? Who said he's reliable within the context of halacha? But it's one and the same. This is Rav's opinion.
Whatever this is saying, yeah.
He says if a get is brought from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel, from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael, one does not say Fonei Nechtam. See, that's what Rav said. No, he said Habibi get Misham Lekan. No, Rav said Bavel is Kersol Gitten. That's all he said. Kersol Gitten. But he said Gitten Abo Misham Lekan. Gitten that which come from there to here, means from Bavel to Ein Tzorch Fonei Nechtam. Leibok Savar. So evidently, even though it's two separate locations, Leibok Savar Fishein Bikin Lishmo Vani Gemiri. Now, what is the basis to say Fonei Nechtam like Rabbit said? Because there's a concern that the Sofrim are not proficient in Lishma. So because Bavel has yeshivas, they're fully learned. So that's why Bavel and Yisrael are one and the same. There's no reason. As Tizbra, could you even consider saying that? Well, Rabbi Islay the Rabbi, we proved multiple times that regard to Eid Eidim Tsumil Kaimo, to certify the signatures, Rabbi agrees with Rabbi. He's saying in addition to that, there's another reason. Everybody agrees that it has to, the issue of forgery has to be addressed to certify, to authenticate the signatures. The Kevadika Rabim, the Salki Vinachti, since the many students who go, who ascend and return, there's this interchange of Talmidim from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael, Mishkeshchichi. So you're going to be able to locate people who recognize the signatures. So therefore, the get that's brought from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael, if there's ever a question where the get is contested, that it may be a forgery, you'll be able to locate someone from Bavel who's studying in Eretz Yisrael who'll be able to identify the signature. Therefore, it's not a problem. Okay? That's the basis for Rav of Yosef.
Something like Rava.
No, everybody agrees to Rava. Everybody agrees to Rava.
He's just showing why.
No, but the question, but how? But factually, it's two locations. But because you have the interchange of students, it's exchange students, back and forth.
Why Eidim will work.
Why it will work.
Right.
Why it's like in the same location. Omer Rav Yosef. So Rav Yosef says, when he hears it, he says, Mad Lemo to Rav Yosef Bar Samcho. Who says Rav Yosef, although he's saying it, that he's reliable to take on his position in halacha? So, now, what about Rav? Rav said, Bavel's Kersol Gitten. This is Rav. Is Rav Yosef saying the same as Rav, or he's saying something a little slightly different than Rav? So take a look at the third Tosas. Tos Nomen Aleph. Third Tosas Nomen Aleph. Bavel Men Aleph. Bavel Ravam at Keretz Yisrael. Medina LeMedina beBavel. Pligi. Here. The Machlokas Rav and Shmuel, where the Bavel's Kersol Gitten, they're arguing from one, like we spoke, from Surah to what? To Nerdo. Or Surah to Pumbedisa. These are different communities in Bavel. That's Medina and Medina. In Bavel. The Ba'osa Medina, Moti Shmuel. They in Tzorich. Because of the, right? Ba'osa Medina, we said, according to Rava, you're able to locate the witnesses. Avagav de Omer B'Gersai Tridi. He says, although we said they're preoccupied with their studies, Hainu Lomat Lo Hashivi Yosem Mishar Chutz Loretz. Meaning to the degree, Bavel doesn't have any greater value than any Chutz Loretz. So in Chutz La'aretz, we said earlier, according to Rava, Ba'osa Medina, right, B'Bdida Sayam, the Shlich doesn't have to say Fani Nechtam. Correct? Because you're able to locate people who recognize the signatures. Now, so he's saying the Ogdiv Rav and Shmuel is Medina B'Medina Sayam. Two communities in Medina Sayam, not the same community. But he says, what about Bava Eretz Yisrael? Nami Lo Iri. Here, Rav before is not speaking. We bring the get from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael. We're not speaking about that. They're arguing Medina from Nerdo to Surah Pumbedisa. Why? How do you see that? Umei Bavel Eretz Nami the Hainu Plukted Rav Yosef Besomuch. They're arguing it's a different country. It's not a different province, community within the same country. It's a different province. It's not a different province. It's there. Rav would say maybe also you have to say funny because of the distance. Rav Yosef is introducing this concept that since Salkiv and Nachti, there's the interchange of students. That's like also Medina. So that's Rav Yosef is taking issue with Rav Yosef. He's not taking issue with Rav. Rav is speaking about a whole different situation. It's also Medina, Medina, from one province to the other in Medina Sayam. Okay.
The question of Medina Sayam that you have to say about. So certainly from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael should be. We're saying here Medina or
Medina Sayam.
Medina
From
Sayam.
Surah to Pumbedisa.
You have to say.
There it's simple because there the degree of interchange of Talmidim, definitely you'd be able to locate it.
You don't.
That's why you don't. That's Rav.
Yeah, but Shmuel says.
What Shmuel says he disagrees.
Right.
Because side treaty, because even though they're so immersed in the studies, unless they're exposed to it continuously, they live in the same community, they're not going to recognize the signatures. Reb of Yosef. There it's...
Bavel's only going to Rav, going to Shmuel definitely.
Shmuel definitely argues, no question.
So he's only going to Rav.
We're saying, because that's what he's saying. Rav Yosef's taking issue with Rav Yosef. You should take issue with Rav. He says, no, Rav is talking about something else. Right? He's expanding. Rav Yosef is expanding Rav. Rav, because, again, everybody agrees. The Gemara said earlier, according to Rav, what's the reason? What, Rav doesn't agree with Yosai Treaty? They're also agree. The answer is, but it's based on the evaluation. To what degree? Everybody agrees there's an interchange of students, but is that sufficient to be able to locate the people who recognize signatures, to authenticate the signatures? That's the argument. So there's no question. It's more, even though there's an interchange of Talmidim from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael, but it's not the same degree as from Surah to Nerdo, because it's the same country.
And Rav says you don't have to declare between.
When you go you take a get from Surah to Pumbedisa.
Bavel.
In Bavel, from one province to the
You
other.
don't have to.
You don't.
But from going from Bavel to Yisrael,
Rav doesn't discuss that. Maybe yes. That's what Rav Yosef. So Rav Yosef is extending what Rav had said.
Is this whole argument practical rather than legalistic? It's just a matter of whether or not practically in these two places it'll be recognized or not, or they can find the witnesses.
They're dealing with reality.
Reality, practical.
That's what they're arguing. The halacha is based on reality.
If you had a city that was right outside of Israel, but it was physically really, really close.
We spoke. That's the Mishnah. That's the Mishnah. Wait, that's the Mishnah. The Tanakhama says Aku. Aku. Half of Aku is in Eretz Yisrael, half is outside of Eretz Yisrael. So if you bring a get from the outer part into the inner part, do you have to say Von Nachtam? The Tanakhama says yes. Rav Meir says no. That because it's one and the same community, it's Keretzola Gitten. Although physically it's outside of Eretz Yisrael. Doesn't make a difference. Because he says, again, it's evaluating the reality. They're arguing, based on that, is it sufficient that if it should be contested, can you easily locate somebody to authenticate the signature? They're arguing on the reality. It's evaluating the reality. Is it a problem? Is it not a problem? Tanakhama says it's still a problem. Rav Meir says it's not a problem. Okay, back to Rav Yosef. So the first thing Rav Yosef says, although Rav Yosef is saying it, who said he's a Bar Sam? Who says he's reliable within the context of what? Of halacha. That's the first thing. Secondly, V'od, ha'il d'sholach le Rav Yehuda, he had sent a letter to Rav Yehuda, and he had written a pasuk in the letter. And the pasuk he had written, he says, B'nei Odom ha'olim misham lekan, the Talmidim who travel from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael to learn Torah in Eretz Yisrael, Heim kayom ba'atzmim, they're actually fulfilling within themselves. This is as a criticism. Vayidnu hayeled bezono, vayalda mochro b'yayin, v'yishtu. So Rashi says, what is the pasuk saying? So Rashi says, Tosafos brings another interpretation. Yeah, he says, show you mishtayin be'eretz Yisrael umnichem neshoseim agunos ubetelim pir v'ribya. Yeah, they would leave their wives. They left with permission, but factually they didn't engage in what? In procreation. Shenikol beineim yilodim v'yilodos. So if you don't have children, it's okay not to have children. So therefore, they're willing to pass on the sons and the daughters not to have children for the sake of Torah. That's the criticism. That's the criticism. But when he sent that pasuk, was a pasuk in Yoel, he didn't score the parchment when he had written those words. Although it's part of Nevi'im, doesn't make it. He didn't score it. V'omer Rabbi Yitzchak had said, "Shtaim kosin." If you want to write 2 words of Torah, Nevi'im Ksuvim, you don't have to score the parchment. Shalosh in kosin, but 3, you're not permitted to commit it to writing unless you score the parchment first and then you write the words. But Masnisan Torah in the Bryce it says, Shalosh kosin. 3 words you're permitted without sirtut. Arba in kosin. For Rav Yosef is saying, Rav Yosef, when he sent the letter, it's more than 3 words, and he scored the parchment. So what do you see? See, the man is not consistent with halacha. If a man is not aware of the halacha, you see clearly he cannot be relied upon. You know, somebody comes up, and you have it today, and logically it sounds cogent. But the question is, unless you're an expert in halacha, you don't know whether it sounds good. Seems to be right. And what, do you have the capacity or the qualification to determine whether the psak is a proper psak? If he's known, he's a bar samcha, he's accepted, let's say, by whoever it may be, okay. I don't have to be the expert. If it doesn't make sense, okay, then maybe I have to question, especially if it's a leniency. If it's a leniency, I have to question. But if he's not, he has no credibility, and the credibility is based upon me evaluating, who am I to make an evaluation, especially if I see a problem. Person comes, he says halacha, he gives a phenomenal Torah lecture in shul, and he speaks during Chazor Sashatz. No? You know something? I'm not sure what he's all about. Many years ago, this has to do with Far Rockaway 5 towns. When I was 18, 19 years old, I spent, my parents had a place out in Far Rockaway. So I used to go out there once in a while during the week, during the intercession in the summer, and I would study in the White Shul. That's where I'd study in the summer, because that was the only structure that was air-conditioned. And I meet somebody there. He's a Talmud of Yeshiva University. Very good Talmud. So I said to him, and I didn't see him in the shul. No, so I said, where do you study, He says, well, I take the shurim that I hear from Rosh Hashanah. I go to the beach and lie on the beach, and he reviews the shurim while he lies on the beach. You understand? You want to go to the beach, go to the beach. You tell me you're reviewing Rabbi Yoshe Be'er shurim, Rabbi Soloveitchik shurim when you're lying on the beach. Somehow it doesn't go together. It's not appropriate. So a person like that would give me a psak halacha. You think I'm going to give it any credibility in terms of what you value, what you don't value? Can't. He has no credibility. So if a person does something, he's supposed to score the parchment, you don't score the parchment. It causes me to question. I mean, do you really have what it takes to be able to what? You're doing something which is contrary to the halacha, and that was Rav Yosef's position. So of course Abaye was the Talmud of Rav Yosef. Is that an indication, because he didn't score the parchment, that's a criticism? Or that's a basis to question his credibility as a posek.
It's not what sure is, right? We don't like that.
See, Kabbalah sure. Yeah, correct.
That's the answer.
Wait, let's stick to the Gemara. Amalei Abaye. We'll get to the Sirtut. There's a long tosis on it. Amalei Abaye. Odu kodli odu Rav Yitzchok lav gaver Rabu. You mean to say, because you're not aware where Yitzchak gets said, or it says 2 words don't have to be scored to parchment, 3 words do. You mean to say you're not a Gav Rabba if you're not aware where Yitzchak? So Rashi says what? Maybe he's not aware of that halach. He never heard it. Something that logically, it's inconsistent with logic. That's a reason to question that he's not a Gav Rabba. If you're a Gav Rabba, you should understand what you're saying is incorrect. But what Rav Yitzchak said is it's unrelated to what? The logic. It's not based on a logical deduction. Gemara, Gemara lo shemi'alei. It's a Masorah. Rav Yitzchak is a Masorah. How do you write, when you write psukim of Tanakh, you have to score the part. That's Masorah. 2 words, 3 words, 4, whatever it may be. He didn't have the Masorah. So it doesn't reflect negatively on it. Doesn't it, Rev? If it would have been Svara and he should have understood, that's clear. There's some kind of fallacy in his thinking process. But this is unrelated. Therefore, he says, he could be a Gavar Rabbah. We're not talking about a Talmud Chacham. Gavar Rabbah means he's a leading Torah sage. Therefore, he has the credibility to accept what he's saying. That therefore, if you bring a get, Misham Lakan, Ein Tzorach Lomar Fani Nechtam. Now, the Gemara uses the term, the Gemara says in Makos, which we once studied here, that it says, Hani Bavloi de Tipshoi, the Babylonians who were a bunch of fools. We had it twice. We had it in Be'o. Once that Bavloi Tipshoi Dachli Nama Benamo. They eat bread with bread. Could you imagine making, you have 2 pieces of bread and you put a piece of matzah in between the 2. That's a sandwich. You're eating bread basically. So what we do, they eat daiso, they eat porridge with bread. What's porridge? I mean, you talk about oats or oats or whatever it is, cooked oats, eating with bread. So the bavloi tipshoi, dachli dam benamo. So the Gemara says in Makos that hani bavloi tipshoi, that when a Sefer Torah comes into the shul, they stand, but when a Gavar Rabbah comes into the shul, they don't stand. For a living Torah, they don't stand. For a Sefer Torah, they do stand. This is hani bavloi tipshoi, that they don't stand for a Gavar Rabbah. It doesn't say for a Tzumah Rabbana, this is Gavar Rabbah. Okay, it's a classification of a person. So Rabbi is saying, just because he's not aware of the Masorah, which Rav Yitzchak said, it doesn't detract or reflect on him that he's not a Gavar Rabbah. He still could be a Gavar Rabbah. If it's a fallacy in his thinking and his logic, then he's not a Gavar Rabbah. Now it's interesting. The Gemara says in Sanhedrin, which we learned, this is Chaim. Okay. Because he learned Sanhedrin here. Okay, the Gemara says that a dayan who makes a mistake, the question is that he gives a psak, and the person pays. So the halach is, and then afterwards he realized he made a mistake. The ruling was a wrong ruling. The dayan have to reimburse the person who he found guilty. The person paid. So to reverse the psak you don't, because it's called zilus de medina. It doesn't look at the court. But factually, on a personal level, does he have to reimburse him? So Mar says, if it's based on shikul hadas, if it's something which is explicit, the halacha is in the Mishnah somewhere, it's an oversight, that's something he should have known. So then he has to reimburse him. But if it's shikul hadas, so Mar says, what's shikul hadas? Shikul hadas means it's based on your intellectual evaluation. That's shikul hadas. So the Gemara says that there's a machlokus in a certain subject matter, in this particular subject matter, and you're able to bring proof somewhere from Shas to one of the positions, which position is the more correct position. For that, you have to be at a special level. And he wasn't the person, that was the oversight. If it's explicit in the Mishnah, then he has to reimburse the person, because a person of your caliber, you shouldn't have that's a faulty psak. But something which is shikul hadas, that already that's another level. So therefore we cannot fault him that he didn't bring the proof. It had to be extrapolated from an inference or something for a right from Shas. That not. No. If it's Davashib the Mishnah, it says Shurabel Yoshiv Sefer Tzaddik Levrocha, he was amazed. He was the posik par excellence. He was amazed at Ramoshe Feinstein Sefer Tzaddik Levrocha. Ramoshe, many of his rulings were from Shas itself. Things which are not discussed or even takes issue with others. And Rav Moshe didn't paskin, didn't rule from Achronim. Only the certain primary, but other Achronim didn't reckon with them. And his main psak was based on his proficiency in Shas. Bring proofs, literally, it's unbelievable what he was able to draw from that, and he built things on this. And I'll give you an example. One of the things he has, Hasidim in certain areas are more machmir than non-Hasidim. So a person has, let's say, years ago, today, everything's disposable. But at one time, a person bought a bottle of pickles. Came in a bottle. So the question is, if you use the jar afterwards, they have to be total the jar. So the minig was, Hasidim, they would total it. They would not use the jar unless they would total it. It's like a glass vessel, you have to be total it. Non-Hasidim weren't total it. No, those years. They didn't have plastic. Glass. It was glass bottles, okay? So Rav Moshe has a tshuva, the same thing, let's say, if you have a can, you open a can. So here we're talking about, it's tefillah doraisa. Metal was doraisa. So you open the can, now the can could be used. Right? Years ago, I had a coffee can. You had a coffee can, and afterwards, you had a cover on, you could use it for a canister as something. Right? Most people kept it, people disposed of it. Right? So the question is, does that can, does it need tefillah? And there it's a question, tefillah with a bracha, everything. So Moshe says, doesn't need tefillah. Why? So he brings a proof from a Mishnah in Tyrus regarding the laws of Tumah V'Taira. That's something, to give it a hashivas of a kli, it has to be something which you value. Initially, it was made to be valued, but if it's only purely as a conveyance that the person should receive the product, and afterwards, then if you retain it, who makes it into a kli? The person who decides to keep it, he makes it into a kli. So if it's something which basically it's purely a conveyance to get you the product, and then the person, he chooses to keep it, he's the one who establishes it as a vessel. Until then, it doesn't have chashiv as a kli, even regarding Tumah V'Taira. He brings the proof. And therefore he says, La Alocha, you don't have to be tovel. And he's consistent. Rav Moshe Paskins, opening a can on Shabbos is an Issa Doraisa. It's Makkah B'Patish. A soda can. It's Makkah B'Patish. Soda can. Issa Doraisa. What's what? You're making the kli. But there it's different, because there, until you cut off the top, it's a sealed cylinder. It doesn't function as a kli. That's much easier. Here, initially, so in those years, if you remember, there was a drink. It was a breakfast drink. People used to think it was healthy. It was called Tang. And there used to be a Tang. And they sold it in a glass pitcher. So when you would finish, you were able to keep it as a pitcher. If you remember. You don't remember. You must have been in Buenos Aires then. Okay? Remember they used to say it would look like a Pyrex pitcher. That's what it looked like. So there it was made to keep. Most people kept it. So there it was more than just a conveyance. It was more than just to get you the product. They made it as a kli, to be attractive. You should buy it because you'd be able to keep it as or they had certain canisters with coffee. It was made initially that a person wouldn't throw it away. So it was made as a canister. So if it's made as a canister, then it would need tefillah. Because again, there you're not establishing it as the vessel, but it's given to you as a vessel. It happens to have something in it. Then it would need tefillah.
If you open a container on Shabbos and you pour it out immediately, so you never, is that considered using it as a kli?
Rav Moshe holds that if something innately has its value, it's a kli whether you throw it away, dispose. That's the heter.
What about disposing of it? In other words, you can either open a bottle, pour a little bit, and keep the bottle and use it as a kli, or you can open it, immediately pour the entire contents into it.
He doesn't differentiate. Machmir. Either way.
So
You choose to throw it away.
You cannot open a can of soda on Shabbos?
No.
Even though you're destroying the can.
You're not destroying it. How are you destroying it?
The can was there to protect the carbonate. Now the can.
But now it's a receptacle. It's not useless. You could use it as a receptacle.
But nobody does.
But you said it's not about.
It doesn't make a difference.
It's not about a kli. It's about makkah b'patish or something else.
Well, making a kli the question is binyan, makkah b'patish, whatever it is, binyan or kli, or either one, whatever the malach is. we'll call it binyan.
What about aluminum cans?
Wait a second. I'm not coming. I'm coming to show you Ramosha's koach hapsak. That's shikol hadas. Shikol hadas is you're able to extrapolate something that's not explicit and to apply it to something else to come to a conclusion. Okay? So he says something which is svara, and you somehow you find a fallacy in his thinking, then it's what? Somebody had written a tshuva to Ramosha. This person was a famous rabbi in Miami Beach many years ago. You can look it up about mechitza that he had written, and this person wrote svarim. This person came from Hungary originally. This rabbi, and that he said that the whole concept of mechitza, the Gemara says in Sukkah, is that a person is to separate the sexes during davening. That you shouldn't be distracted. Separation of men and women. So he said he writes to Ramosha, he holds that during Shemon Esrei, since a person is so immersed in Shemon Esrei, you daven with your eyes closed, you look in the siddur, you're permitted to daven Shemon Esrei in a room, even though there's no mechitza, separate men and women, it would not be a problem. Here, this is what he writes to Ramosha. So Ramosha responds back like almost the way it's not even you're not even worthy to have a response on this one. That's how baseless the position is.
You wrote that?
That's what he wrote. That's what he wrote back. It was somebody had written Ramosha that he learned, he set up Shat Nashach in Choshen Mishpat, and very novel understanding of the Shach. So Ramosha writes him back, he says, I studied that Shach 186 times. Even as a Havamin, I never considered what you're saying. You understand? So we're talking about the Gavar Rabbah. What's a Gavar Rabbah? Okay? But yet when you write a letter to this person, Harav, Hagoy, Hatzadik, this and that, that's the way they write today. Okay. V'od. Secondly, Abaye says to Rava, you see something interesting here. Hodr Rev Yosu da'aski mori al yodek. You find Rev Yoser, so Rashi simply means Hashem valued his position. Because the Morris tells the story of Eliyahu Hanavi. HaKadosh Baruch Hu valued Rev Yosef's position. What is it? The story of Pelegish Begiva. There's a woman, she was a concubine. She had fled and she was killed openly. The question is, why did she flee from her husband? She fled from her husband. She had done something wrong. So there's an argument that Tizna Olav Pelagsho, meaning it doesn't mean he did done something wrong, and because of that she fled. Rev Yosef Amar Zvuv Motzalo. Meaning he found a fly in the food, and he was upset with her. And she fled. She fled, and openly she was killed. She was raped and killed. He found a zvuv, a fly. Rav Yosef and Nima Motzalo. Yeah? He had found a hair. We'll see where the hair was found. Nima Motzalo. V'ashke Rav Yosef Elio. Rav Yosef came upon Eliyahu Hanavi. So a person who comes upon Rav Eliyahu Hanavi, and Rav Eliyahu Hanavi has an interchange with you. You have to be somebody special. No, he doesn't talk to anybody, right? And he appeared to him as Eliyahu. He knew it was Eliyahu. Ashkei Rav Yosef Omalei my covet HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hear this? Rav Yosef says to Eliyahu, what is HaKadosh Baruch Hu doing at this moment? Omalei Osip Pelegish Begiva. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is engaged in the story of Pelegish Begiva, the concubine and Giva, the story of what happened. Umay Komar. Hear this? Rav Yosef is asking Eliyahu, and what is Hashem saying about that incident? Omalei. So he says, he's saying, Ev Yosef nikach Omar. Ev Yosef, my son, meaning himself. Eliyahu Stamra, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is considering what you're saying. Ev Yosef nikach Omar, Yosef nikach Omar. Because there's an argument. Was it the fly, or was it the hair? Kach Omer. Stop. So therefore, he says, so Abaye is saying to Rav Yosef, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is asking Mori al Yodeg. So simply means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is considering the position of Rav Yosef. You understand? He can't be an ordinary guy. He has to be a Gavar Rabbah. So Rashi says, what does it mean? Asking Mori al Yodeg. Simply, the way, if you learn the Gemara means, he values his position. Rashi says, Legalus lo sod. Dvorim hastumim al amitosam. He revealed him something which is a secret, to be able to understand something which is sealed, to have a true understanding of it. Al amitosam. So that tells you who Rebbe Yosef is. So for Rebbe Yosef is halacha, there's no question he's definitely a bar samcha. He's credible within the context of halacha. This is what Abaye is saying. But what do you see something here? So what is he saying? Therefore he's a gaver rabba. Meaning, let's say a person says, he must be a gaver rabba because Elio wouldn't speak to him. The Gemara is not saying that. Why is he gaver rabba? Because ask him Mori al Yodei. But he sat in that whole conversation with Eliyahu. Having conversation with Eliyahu doesn't make you a gaver rabba. It's only because what Eliyahu had told him that HaKadosh Baruch Hu at that moment is engaging on his position. So that means, so how did Rav Yosef come to that position? HaKadosh Baruch Hu had revealed it to him. This is like Sod Hashem L'Yireov. That the secret of Hashem, who does he share this with? With those who fear him. Mm-hmm. So evidently he must be the Gaver Rabbah. So I was thinking, what's the proof he's a Gaver Rabbah? What's the proof? He revealed this to him. It's a Sod Hashem L'Yireov. You know what I'm asking? Gaver Rabbah is another level. That means you're credible in Psak. What's the proof? Sod Hashem L'Yireov.
I could reveal himself, is that enough?
You revealed him this detail. We're not saying that if you can bring a get from Bovel to Eretz Yisrael, Hashem revealed that to him. This he revealed to him. This is a sod. The other is a rationale, like we discussed. It's an evaluation of what is the reality. Can you authenticate the signatures? Can you not authenticate the signatures? So I think it has to do with Belev Kochacham Nosel Chochma. It has to do with what I said by Yosef. Have we ever seen a person who is Ruach Elokimbo? Therefore he's Chochem V'Novo. If Hashem communicates things, that's a confirmation that he's Chochem V'Novo. Belev Kochacham Nosel Chochma. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveals to him Sod, that tells me he is the Chochma, he has the capacity. Because if he's just a nobody, Hashem doesn't reveal it. Being a tzaddik alone is not sufficient. You have to be a chochem. As a result of that, that's a confirmation that he's a gaver rabba.
How do you see the chacham?
Because Hashem wouldn't have revealed this to him. Ask him Moreg. Rashi says Gilulo Sod to come to the Amitas HaTorah. A person who's on the right track, who's at that level, Hashem only reveals truth within the context of Torah. A person who studies Torah within the context of truth.
So we're saying that Eliyahu revealed himself to him.
Not Eliyahu revealed. It's not what Eliyahu. Eliyahu communicate with a person doesn't tell you that he's a Gavar Rabbah.
Right.
He's a tzaddik, he's a chosid, he's that. Gavar Rabbah is something else. It's because he says Hashem is quoting you, is saying, if Yosef B'ni said this. So that's within the context of interpretation of Torah, his position is valued.
Read that as far as he can read as far.
Right, exactly.
Because as far as
We're talking about Amitas. Hashem revealed to him Amitas HaTorah. That means this man has relevance to the truth of Torah. Therefore, he has credibility. Well, the Gemara is going to ask me, what about that? It's either A or B. So the Gemara is going to Eilu Ve'il Dimmer Kim Chaim. The Gemara is discussed. We'll see in a moment. Okay? Here we have a minute. So he said to him, Umika Sveika Kamishmayo. What if Hashem is saying, if Yosef says this, and Yonasan says this, if Yosef B'ni or Yosef B'ni, is there a Sovik Kamishmayo? I mean, Hashem knows what happened. Was it the Zvuv or was it the Nima? Omalei Elevel Divrei Kim Chayim. So Eliyahu said to him, Elevel, they're both correct. The question, what is the primary reason why she fled? Was it the fly or was it Nima? What does that mean? Zvuv motzo v'lo hikpid. He found a fly, but that wasn't enough. Although he wasn't hikpid. He wasn't adamantly upset with her. Nima motzo v'hikpid. But when he found the hair, he was makpid. Now the question is, where did he find the fly? Where did he find the hair? Amar Rav Yehuda, Zvuv v'kairo nima bosamokum. The zvuv, the fly, was found in the food plate. Zvuv bosamokum. In the olden days, women, when they would prepare themselves, groom themselves, they would remove the pubic hair. It was in Sanhedrin, and he fell in love with his sister. He had relations with her, and he became a Khrushchevka. Why? Because it says kosher nimo. That because she had pubic hairs, the pubic hair caused him to become damaged his male organ. So women at one time, they would actually remove the pubic hair. That there shouldn't be an eventuality of something like this could happen. She didn't, and her husband or her master, she was a concubine. He was affected by this, so therefore it was bosa mokum. So the Gemara refers to this as sakanto. One is it's not pleasant to find a fly in your food, but the other is sakon. It's totally responsible. Therefore, that's the reason why she had fled.